Into paper 2 we go, in the Battle of Fulford. We're going to do two topics in one here. Now, the Battle of Fulford was the first battle of 1066. And Fulford is just outside York. It's part of York now, but then it was just outside York. Harold Hardrada and Tostig Godwinson lined up with 9,000 warriors, most of them Vikings. A very small handful of troops will have come with Tostig, who were Anglo-Saxons. And they were fighting against Edwin and Morcar, two of Harold Godwinson's most trusted, strongest earls. But they were outnumbered. Now, you know I give numbers here. Both of those numbers would be estimated numbers. Nobody stopped to count them. Now, Hardrada's tactics were to put Tostig's weaker troops right all on one side together to sort of provide a tempting target. And it seems like when Edwin and Morcar ordered their men into battle, they aimed at Tostig. But this meant that Harold Hardrada's more experienced, stronger Viking troops could take them from the side. And because they'd positioned, the Anglo-Saxons, Edwin and Morcar, had positioned their troops so that there was a marshland behind them, when they did break and run, there was nowhere to go to, and it was an absolute slaughter by all accounts. So, with the Viking victory, the Vikings had ultimately taken control by this point of the north. They went straight to York, or as they would have called it, Jorvik, and they started to demand hostages. Perhaps the two most significant things about the Battle of Fulford is it would have led to thousands of Anglo-Saxon warriors being killed, and they would then be of no use in the later battles of 1066. And that includes Edwin and Morcar, who didn't seem to have taken part in any further battles. For whatever reason we don't know, but it's safe to assume that something that happened at Fulford seemed to have knocked them out of the fight. And this also weakened the Anglo-Saxon army, because Edwin and Morcar were two powerful, experienced earls. Hostages would be the sons of powerful people in the north. So if the Vikings had control of their sons, which they would promise to treat, train to be warriors and that sort of thing, but if they had them in their possession, it would mean the powerful people of Yorkshire would have to behave. So they went to Stamford Bridge. Oh, and if they refused, of course, the Vikings would turn up at their town or their places and just destroy, take whatever they wanted. So they didn't have much choice, these Anglo-Saxons. They were waiting at a place you might know from the next battle of 1066, at Stamford Bridge, waiting for their hostage to turn up, when Harold Godwinson and his huge army turned up to face them and take them completely by surprise. And that is all you need to know about the Battle of Fulford. If we fast forward a little bit in our story, there was of course the Battle of Fulford, followed by the Battle of Stamford Bridge and the Battle of Hastings. And after that point, Harold Hardrada's dead, Harold Godwinson's dead, and William is the only one left standing. Now you might think that that's that, he becomes king, but it's not the case, because all of the powerful men in England had not submitted to him and said, okay, you're king, you're my king. So this whole event's called the submission of the Earls. They don't submit automatically. William has to make them submit. So what happens in this story? Any survivors of the Battle of Hastings, and a number of people who probably weren't at Hastings, went to London. And it's clear from the fact that they sent the women away, key women away. One named one was Edwin and Morcar's sister, Ealdgith. They were in a fortified city, that means it's a city with walls, with defences, and the Witan elected Edgar the Athlin as king, that the Earls had no intention of submitting to William and saying, yeah, okay, we've lost now, you're the king. William was going to have a fight on his hands if he wanted to force these key important people to submit. So what did William do? The first way in which William was able to get them to submit was to sort of march on a path in areas surrounding London and just destroy, kill, burn things down, intimidate the people in London, those key earls who were hiding there, and try to get them to surrender through intimidation rather than a direct attack on London. He also knew that the wealth of England was in Winchester, not in London. So he sent troops to go and take the royal treasury, to take the wealth of England, which would obviously weaken the Anglo-Saxons that were hiding in London. And they did decide to come out and submit to him. And perhaps one of the reasons why the Anglo-Saxons did this was because they were kind of only left with Edgar as a leader. He was only 14 years old, approximately. He'd already been overlooked once when Edward the Confessor died, because Ira Godwinson had been chosen. So all of these things combined, the scorched earth intimidation, the seizing of the treasury, and the fact that there wasn't much of a key leader, a strong leader in charge, perhaps meant that the Earls submitted. One final important point is the first of the important people of Anglo-Saxon England to submit to William was Archbishop of Canterbury Stigand, and the rest followed after him. This is significant because if you could piece together the whole of this story, the Pope had given William support for his invasion and had almost certainly hoped that when William took over England, one of the things he would do would be to get rid of Archbishop Stigand. Perhaps the reason why he didn't get rid of Archbishop Stigand immediately, it took him 4 more years, was maybe because Stigand had been the first to submit, so William wanted to reward some of that loyalty.